Alright, so I'm going to go over this instrument. Appreciate your interest in my instruments. Like I said, this might be the last one, but it is what it is. It's a decent instrument. It's a longer scale, as you notice. It's a 25 and 3/4 inch scale, which is even longer than some guitars. Not by much, maybe an inch. So what that enables you to do is you get lower tunings because you can use thicker strings. Okay, so stick dulcimers typically run primarily two different tunings: GDG, which is on the higher end, and then DAD, which is about middle of the road. So this instrument tunes right below DAD, and it goes down a little bit into the baritone range. So you probably get like 3 or 4 tunings with it. Okay. Right now I think I have it in C sharp, and then G sharp and C sharp, yeah. And we'll go through a couple tunings here. Anyway, scale length is the distance between the top of the bridge to the top of this nut here. Okay, so the distance is 25 3/4 inch from the top of the bridge to the nut. So that's your scale length in this instrument. So I have a little bit heavier gauge string on it, and I can get these lower tunings. Okay? Let me go over the woods real quick. So I've got Alaskan Sitka spruce on top. It's a solid piece. The sides are cherry. You got Babinga trim here. The back is spalted maple. Came from Canada. The neck is mahogany with a Paduk back overlay. Got Grover guitar tuners on it, which is they're a very high-end tuner. You can look those up. And then a walnut overlay, pegged overlay, Cocobolo fingerboard. There's a maple extension in the heel here, and then a mahogany heel. You've got a strap button here. This is a ebony heel cap. Kind of trim things out, and you got another strap button here, so you'll be able to suspend the instrument. Okay. And then this tailpiece has two functions. Obviously it holds the strings, but it's elevated so it becomes an armrest as well. Okay, so you'll be able to hold the instrument suspended so you're not holding it while you're trying to play, and then you'll use this, rest your arm, it'll bring an instrument in, you'll have a really solid playing position. So I really think that helps a lot. I mean, I don't even need a strap, but I've been playing a long time, but I just use this, and I can use my arm just to put a little pressure against the instrument, against my body, and I can almost hold it without having a problem. obviously I'm playing it plugged in, so it's amplified. This copper band you see right here meshes into the tailpiece, and what that does is that sometimes you get a humming. You get an electric hum through the instrument from the electronics. You don't hear that, okay? And so what that does is that bucks the hum. That's what these pickups were. They made back in the 50s were called, because when they had single coil pickups, they would hum in the instrument, and so they came up with these pickups, and they called them humbuckers, because they were able to silence that extraneous electronic sound. So that's more information you need to know. That's not what this is, but it functions the same way. So basically you have a piezo transducer that's glued onto the inside top, okay? And so you'll be able to pick up, basically what happens is the sound, the waves are converted into an electronic signal that's amplified. So there's no knobs or anything. You control all that from your amp, okay? Alright, let's tune it down a little bit. E, F sharp, B here. So we're about 2 whole steps below D-A-D. Alright, so something else. We've got a really nice action up here. Towards the bottom here, it gets a little high. The last 4 frets are a little high, and the instrument's a little thick. So if you're going to play above the 12th fret, you're going to have, you're going to be reaching around a little bit, and it might be a little difficult. That said, I've been playing this instrument a long time, and I don't think I've ever played past the 12th fret. So take that for what it's worth. But yes, there is a little bit of a high action here, and that's the result of a little bit. So what I did is sometimes if the instrument bodies were a bit out of round, and what I did in this one is I compressed it a little bit as I was gluing the top on, which caused just a little rise. It rounded the body, and it caused a little rise back here, which caused these strings to be elevated a little bit. So I cut the bridge down and I glued this bridge down so it's fixed, and so you've got, it's not ever going to go anywhere. It's not going to get any worse than that. So that's the action that you got, But I wanted to let you know, exactly what's there. Alright, let's go down a little bit more. So here you go, kind of right at the cusp of my tuning. Okay, my scale length and my string gauge are right at the point where I'm in a B flat, kind of an E, B flat, right on the cusp of a baritone, and you hear it's going a little sour. Okay, so that's the limitation on scale length and string gauge. So if you were playing a very short scale instrument, there'd be no way you could even get this low. You know, it would be way out of tune and it wouldn't hold tune because the strings would be too floppy. Okay, same thing here. You know, longer scale, you need heavier strings to get that stable tuning, but to a point, you know, they get too floppy, and then as you press the strings down, they go out of tune. Kind of tweak things a little bit just to kind of keep it in a sweet spot, but if you start playing on the neck, you see how it's not going to be in tune. So that's where you get it. That's what the limitations of the scale length are. Okay, so shorter scale length, you're going to be limited to one tuning usually, maybe a half step. You know. Longer scale length with some heavier strings, you can get a couple of different tunings. So that's the whole point of that. The other thing is you'll have a little bit wider spacing here. You know, shorter scale length is going to bring all these frets a little bit closer together. But this is manageable. And if you ever have aspirations of transitioning to guitar, you're already setting yourself up here with finger position to translate onto a guitar pretty easily, because this is, like I said, this is even just a little bbit longer than most guitars. Most guitars are scaled like 24.5, and this is 25 and 3/4. So let's go back up a little bit. So this is maybe, well, it is. It's one whole step lower than DAD. So it's C, G, C. Mess around all night. It's really fun when you just sit down and just play, because it's really hard to hit a wrong note, although you can. I think I've gone over just about all I can go over. Let me let you hear it unplugged here. I'll just pull the cord. You hear that hum? So that, you know, that's kind of what it's designed. You know, you would probably hear that if I didn't have that copper in place, but I plug it in and you can't hear it. So yeah, it's a little bit more subdued when it's not plugged in. Now, if you have a strap on and you're holding it away from your body, you can hear the dynamics change because you've freed up that back, and now it's vibrating and giving you more energy and putting more sound out. So. But it's a small-bodied instrument, so it's going to be difficult to hold it out here. But that's why it is amplified. So, you know. And I have another guitar cord that's flat. It comes out at a 90°, and it's a lot nicer. So. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Thank you for your interest. Like I said, if you're really interested, just shoot me an email and we'll figure it out. Happy playing.